improving writing skills in English. Writing is an essential skill for mastering English. Whether you're a beginner or more advanced, improving your writing involves regular practice and using helpful techniques. In this section, we'll explore simple tips to enhance your writing skills, such as starting with short sentences, keeping a journal, and reading more in English. By practicing daily and using online tools, you'll be able to write more confidently and effectively in no time. It was a beautiful summer day. The sun was shining and the sky was blue. I was sitting on a train, going to another city. The train was not full. I sat near the window. Across from me, there were two women. They were talking in English. I listened to them, but I did not understand much. I only knew a few English words. But I wanted to speak English too. I was a little nervous, but I smiled and said, "Hello." The women smiled back. I said, "My name is Arya. I want to learn English." My English was very simple, but they understood me. I was happy. They were kind and patient. We talked for a short time. I told them I was a student. They told me they were from England. They were coming home from a conference. We talked for about 10 minutes. I made some mistakes, but it was okay. I tried my best. They helped me. Before I left the train, they gave me their phone number and address. They said, "You can visit us in England if you want." I said, "Thank you very much." Then I got off the train. This small talk was very important for me. It gave me hope. It was my first real conversation in English. After that, I decided to learn English every day. That was the beginning of my English journey. After my short conversation on the train, I felt something change inside me. I was excited and motivated. I wanted to speak English better. I knew it would not be easy, but I was ready to try. I made a plan. I would practice English every single day. At home, I found some simple texts in English. I tried to translate them into my language, then back into English. It helped me understand sentence structure. I also started watching English movies with subtitles. Sometimes I didn't understand everything, but I listened carefully. I repeated some words and phrases. Little by little, my English improved. Every day, I studied for about 2 hours. Some days I was tired, but I didn't stop. I knew that small steps every day would help me grow. I focused on learning useful words, not just grammar rules. I wrote new words in a notebook and used them in my own sentences. After 6 months of daily practice, I was surprised. I could understand more and I could speak better. My sentences were still simple, but I didn't need to translate everything in my head. English started to feel more natural. This daily routine changed my life. I learned that success comes from regular practice, not from talent or luck. I was proud of my progress, and I wanted to continue learning more. That's when I decided to go to London and study English in a real school. After many months of self-study, I wanted to learn more. I decided to go to London to study English at a language school. I was excited but also a little nervous. It was my first time in a big English-speaking city. On the first day, I went to the school early. The building was nice, and the people were friendly. In my class, there were students from many countries. Everyone wanted to learn English, just like me. Our teacher was a young woman. She smiled a lot and made us feel welcome. In the first lesson, she asked us to talk about ourselves, our names, countries, and why we wanted to learn English. Then she told us something very interesting. We will not use many textbooks. We will learn by speaking, listening, and using English every day. This idea was new for me, but I liked it. I don't enjoy memorizing grammar rules. I want to use a language, not only study it. We started speaking in pairs, asking simple questions. I was shy at first, but I spoke anyway. That day, I learned something important. The best way to learn a language is to use it. One day in class, a student asked the teacher, "What's the best way to learn new words?" The teacher smiled and said, "The best way is to read every day." She explained that reading helps you see words many times. When you see a word often, you remember it better. She also said it's important to choose books or texts that you like. If you enjoy the story, you will want to read more. That evening, I went to the library and looked for an easy English book. I found a story about a boy and his dog. It was interesting and simple. I started reading it every night before bed. When I saw a new word, I underlined it. If I didn't understand, I used a dictionary. I didn't try to learn all the words at once. I just read and enjoyed the story. After a few weeks, I noticed something. Some new words started to feel familiar. I could remember them without looking in the dictionary. I even started to use them when I spoke. Reading became one of my favorite ways to learn English. It helped me learn new words naturally and with fun. One day, our teacher told us about a new technique. She said, if you want to speak better English, try thinking aloud. At first, I didn't understand. What does that mean? I asked. She explained. Thinking aloud means you speak your thoughts in English, even when you are alone. It sounded a bit strange, but I wanted to try. That evening, I walked the park and began to speak softly to myself. I said simple things like, now I am walking. The weather is nice. I see a tree. I feel happy. It felt funny at first, like I was talking to nobody. But after a few days, it became easier. I started to say longer sentences. I described what I was doing, what I wanted to eat, or what I saw around me. Soon, something amazing happened. When I talked to real people, the words came faster. I didn't need to think in my first language. I could speak directly in English. My brain was getting used to English. This technique changed everything for me. I didn't need a partner. I could practice anytime, anywhere. So if you are afraid to speak English, start by speaking to yourself. Your mouth will learn. Your brain will learn. You will feel more confident. Thinking aloud is simple, powerful, and free, and it works. In class one day, a girl said, I want to speak English, but I am afraid. I don't want to make mistakes. Our teacher smiled and said, it is okay to make mistakes. Mistakes help you learn. At first, I also felt the same. I was shy. I didn't want to say something wrong. I thought people would laugh at me. But then I understood nobody is perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The teacher told us, when you learned your first language, you made mistakes, but you kept talking. That's how you learned. English is the same. Now, when I speak and make a mistake, I smile and try again. I don't stop. I know that every mistake is part of my journey. Every mistake helps me grow. The more I speak, the better I become. And the more mistakes I make, the more I learn. So if you are learning English, don't be afraid. Speak with confidence. Make mistakes. Learn from them. Remember, no mistakes equals no progress. Be brave. Be proud. You are learning something amazing. Our teacher taught us something very useful. She said, when you learn a new word, it goes through 5 steps. The first step is seeing the word for the first time, maybe in a book or movie. You don't know the meaning, so you look it up. The second step is seeing the word again. Now it feels a little familiar. Maybe you remember it, maybe not. The third step is seeing or hearing the word many times. Now you start to understand it better. The fourth step is using the word yourself. You write it in a sentence or say it when speaking. This is very important. The fifth step is when the word becomes part of you. You don't need to think about it. You just know it. I started using these steps. When I saw a new word, I wrote it in my notebook. I read it, said it, and tried to use it in class. After some time, I remembered many words easily. Learning words is like planting seeds. First, you plant, then you water, and one day it grows. Be patient, and the words will stay in your mind. One Friday, our teacher asked us a simple question. Why do you want to learn English? At first, the class was quiet. Then one student said, I want to be a tennis coach in England. Another student said, I want to work in a big international company. A girl said, I love English movies and want to understand them without subtitles. I said, I want to travel and speak with people from different countries. The teacher smiled. She said, these are all good reasons. When you have a goal, it helps you stay motivated. I thought about it later. She was right. Before, I studied English without a clear goal. I just studied because it's important. But I often felt tired or bored. After that class, I wrote my goal on a piece of paper. I want to speak English fluently so I can travel and make friends around the world. I put that paper on my wall. Now, when I feel lazy, I look at my goal. It reminds me why I study. It gives me energy. It helps me keep going, even when English feels hard. Goals are powerful. They give you direction. They help you focus. Your goal can be big or small. Maybe you want to pass a test. Maybe you want to watch movies or talk to tourists. All goals are good, but the most important thing is know your why. When you know why you learn, you'll find a way to learn. So take 1 minute today. Ask yourself, why do I want to speak English? What is my dream? Write it down. Read it every day. Let it guide you. To speak English fluently, you need to practice a lot. Fluency means being able to speak easily without thinking too much about words or grammar. It's like playing a sport. The more you practice, the better you get. One way to practice speaking is to talk every day. You don't need to speak for hours, just 10 or 15 minutes each day. You can speak to a friend, a teacher, or even talk to yourself. This is called thinking aloud. For example, you could describe what you're doing like, I am eating breakfast now, or I'm going to the park later. The more you practice, the more natural your speaking will become. Another way to improve is to listen to native speakers. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts, or find YouTube videos. Try to repeat what they say. This helps you learn the correct pronunciation and rhythm. Remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Every time you speak, you get one step closer to fluency. So, speak every day, listen a lot, and enjoy the process. Writing in English can be difficult, especially when you start learning the language. But don't worry. With practice, you will get better. Here are some tips to help you improve your writing skills. 1. Start simple. When you first begin, don't worry about writing long essays. Start with short sentences. For example, you can write about your daily routine, your hobbies, or your favorite food. This helps you practice writing in a comfortable way. 2. Keep a journal. One of the best ways to improve writing is to keep a journal. Every day, write a few sentences about your day. You don't have to worry about mistakes. Just write. Over time, you'll get better at forming sentences and using new vocabulary. 3. Read a lot. Reading helps you see how English sentences are formed. Read books, articles, or even social media posts in English. When you read, pay attention to how words are used and try to copy those patterns when you write. 4. Use online tools. There are many online tools to check your writing, such as grammar checkers or vocabulary websites. These tools can help you see where you make mistakes and learn from them. 5. Practice every day. The more you practice writing, the better you will become. Write a little bit every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. The key to improving writing skills is consistent practice. Remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Writing is a skill that improves with time, so keep practicing and you will see progress.